No, I don't take candy from babies or steal seats from old ladies on the bus or whatever, but I am very much autistic, and for the longest time I felt like an alien. Or no, I still kind of feel like an alien in a human body. That's why I call myself an alien. Even as a kid, I kind of felt like an outsider, and I felt like I was on the outside looking in, or like I was just wired differently, or like my controller wasn't connected all the way or something. But I've always been an anomaly to most people, and when you're different at a young age, people tend to pick up on that. And because of the fear of the unknown, I was an outlier for a good chunk of my childhood. And it wasn't really until middle and high school where I felt like being different was a bad thing, because before that age, kids don't really like judge. Because as kids, you don't really experience the same level of judgment, especially like negative judgment. I have ADHD, autism, and borderline personality disorder, and I know I probably could be diagnosed with like more than that and like have a plethora of things. I'm just one of those type of people that have like a very chaotic mind, and I don't want to be diagnosed with anything else because I don't want to be heavily medicated or whatever. I feel like I'm oversharing. But from my experience, neurotypical people treat neurodivergent people like trash because the disability itself is invisible. Public school nearly sucked the life out of me. That's like the best way to describe it. I was so drained. By the end of senior year, it felt like I was this empty husk of a person. Like all the color and creativity had kind of been like sucked out of me because I was a very artistic child. I would draw all the time. I'm getting back into art and stuff, but like by the end of senior year, I just had like no sense of self, it felt like. And I can make a whole video on that too. I feel like school kills artists. Oh, also, this is the fit, guys. So I'm here with Peony. This is the fit. I just felt like an alien wherever I was. I wasn't comfortable in my own body or with my own gender, and I was very insecure about my appearance, and I had no idea how to like connect or talk with other people my age, like at all. I was black, I was weird, or I am black. I'm black, I'm weird, my parents are foreign. I just didn't really have my own like clique. I did have school friends though. A lot of people just didn't really understand me, and I was like forced to spend a lot of time on my own and like cultivate my own inner world. Of course, I'm very grateful for that opportunity, and I do think that my mind is one of my greatest strengths because your mind is like currency. And I love my mind and I love my brain, especially when it's nice to me. I could honestly like make a whole separate video on like my inner world and stuff because I do this thing called maladaptive daydreaming. I'm sure some people probably know what that is, and I'm sure if you're watching this, you probably relate to this in some way because I've talked about it before on like TikTok and stuff. I'm not really one to like dwell in my own victimhood because if I'm being real, I think all that stuff is just self-flagellating and self-indulgent bullshit. Everybody is a victim at some point in their life, and everybody is a villain at some point in their life, and I think these roles are just roles that we get assigned to play in this grand movie called life, and there's no point in staying or sticking to like one thing because like you need to eventually break out of like the victim mindset if you want to actually move ahead in life and like make progress in life. You gotta like pick yourself back up and actually do something with that pain and like transmute it into something good. Life goes on no matter what has happened to you, and if you don't process that, then you're just gonna stay stuck where you were or like where you were hurt. And that's why a lot of people stay stuck in high school or like they stay stuck in middle school, and they don't like, their mind doesn't change. Like you can meet someone and then like you can talk to them and you're like, damn, you're still the same person that you were in high school. You literally, like that's why they say some people like peaked in high school. Like they literally like peaked in high school, like mentally. You're like, damn. And I've been through my fair share of traumatic experiences during childhood and like later in life. And when you're growing up, you don't really know how to like process that. So it kind of like turns you into someone that's unrecognizable. Like your soul is just wounded so much from what it originally was. And like when we're born, we all have like this pure, untouched, untainted soul. And as we go through life, we get wounded by different things throughout life, by adults mostly, and you're covered in these wounds until you learn how to like heal yourself. That's why people say that they're in like their healing era. They're like healing the wounds and trying to revert back to that like childlike or infant like state. When you heal your soul, you heal yourself. But basically, before I was able to heal myself, I had no boundaries. I had very little self-control. I was not grounded at all. And I was very emotionally dysregulated. And I'm sure in high school I was probably perceived as like the Nancy Downs, Carrie White type of girl. Very intense, very, very scary times. But I was afraid all the time, and I had very, very high social anxiety. And it wasn't until after I got out of that I realized that that wasn't normal, and having cold sweats all the time wasn't normal, and having to like grate my teeth all the time wasn't normal. And just like, I don't know. I would also, ooh, no, too deep. And I was far more emotional than anybody else around me. And of course that led to a lot of like judgment. I am a firm believer that the only one who is allowed to judge you yourself is God or Allah or source or whatever you believe in. I'm not making this video as some sort of like cynical, nihilistic, hate the world type of like manifesto about how much I hate humanity in the world or whatever, because I love the world and I love humans, and I have so much love in my heart and so much love to give to other people, which is why I'm making this video. For a very, very long time, I didn't, and it was all locked away and my heart was like calcified, and that was just a way for me to like protect myself. And by doing that, the world that I created for myself was very dark and very sad and very lonely. If you're watching this and you've had problems feeling comfortable expressing yourself, or you don't really feel like you know who you are yet, and you still feel like you need to be accepted in a world that is overrun by robots and losers, programmed to be okay with mediocrity, I totally understand you.
Freak. Robot.
When we're kids, we believe that we're like these innocent little angels that can like do no wrong. And you kind of go about the beginning stages of your life thinking that you know what right and wrong is, and that you actually have the right to like judge someone else. As we get older, somewhere along the line, something happens that like shatters that perception of yourself and that perception of reality. And it just makes you question what kind of person that you are and like who you are. And it happens to all of us, I'm sure. But the mistakes that you make are what make you human. To be human is to be perfectly imperfect. And when you heal yourself and integrate your shadow, you realize that, but you also realize that most people in the world are unhealed and they go throughout life unhealed. And unless you integrate your shadow, you can never reach your fullest potential. The longer that you run from it, the more it grows and haunts you. But the thing is, a lot of people don't really confront their shadow because it makes them feel uncomfortable. Many people go about their lives without integrating it, and they go about their lives feeling unfulfilled and dissatisfied, and they're always craving like the next thing, and like they're always looking for something to fulfill themselves. But they try to find satisfaction in the external, like earthly pleasures, and they end up living a life of regret because fulfillment comes from within. We live in a world where most people abide by a social contract where they receive love in exchange for conformity. That's from NeuroKnowledge, by the way. I feel like he would want me to reference him. But anyway, they spend their life on Earth wearing a mask to like earn that love. And when you're neurodivergent, you kind of have to like amp it up times 10 just because like we already have a lot on our plates already. And you kind of just have to like wear that mask almost all the time to avoid rejection. And it can be very exhausting and it can lead to burnout. And for me, it definitely led to burnout. But love is the one thing that we all want. It like drives us to conform, and it is what society is kind of like structured around. Like social media, like the like button is like, it's an artificial way of us receiving love from other people. Okay, I'm filming this last part again because I didn't really like what I said in the original, so that's why my outfit's different. But anyways, always choose yourself, whether you're unsure professionally, romantically, or just like platonically. Always choose you. No matter how much you think you love someone, if the connection isn't serving you, it's better to just let it go. Love doesn't justify self-abandonment. If you're constantly putting others first and trying to please everyone and just bending over so far that you forget you have a spine, like, you're not choosing yourself. Every time you override your own needs, you're just reinforcing the idea that your needs don't matter and like you're less important than other people and that other people matter more than you. And that's the root of self-betrayal. But you should matter most in your life, other than like God God or like whatever you believe in. And yeah, when you start prioritizing yourself, people are gonna like call you selfish, but like, yeah, good, let them. That shouldn't be your problem. Most people can't handle someone who refuses to shrink for other people's comfort, but nothing good ever came from putting others above yourself. A lot of people seem to believe that like loving yourself out loud is like arrogance, or like that's how it's perceived anyway. It's perceived as you being like arrogant or haughty or just like full of yourself. But literally, what's wrong with that? I mean, I guess if you do it to an extent where like you're actively putting down others, like that's a whole other different thing, but like that's not what I'm talking about. That's not what I'm making this video for. So yeah, I'm selfish because I choose myself every single time, and like you should choose yourself every single time as well. Even if like guilt shows up, especially then, because like then it means you're like breaking through that like people pleasing programming. But you gotta like power through that phase and like keep going and just like strengthen that muscle, because selfishness is actually just self-loyalty. You came into this world alone, you're gonna leave alone, and when you wake up in the morning, the first person you wake up to is you, even though God's the one that wakes you up, and you should be grateful for that all the time. So choose you without apology, without hesitation, every single time. And yeah, that's the end of the video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it. Make sure to like and subscribe if you haven't. Check out my other videos. I think I'm posting this one a little sooner than I usually do, maybe, because I'm gonna post this as soon as I finish filming it. But thank you so much for watching, everybody. I don't know where to look. I'm looking at the viewfinder and my camera, but yeah, thank you. I love you guys. Bye-bye.
Thank you for your patronage.